Your body is mostly water. It's in your brain. It's in your heart. It's even hiding inside your bones. But here's the strange part. Every single day, without even trying, you lose liters of it. So, what actually happens once your body starts running low? And what happens if you swing too far the other way and drink too much? A body built out of water. Here's a number to start with. Adult bodies typically run about 55 to 60% water, and that share shifts depending on your age, your body composition, and your sex. Newborns carry even more, close to 75% at birth, before that number settles down to around 65% by their first birthday. That water doesn't sit in one place either. Roughly 2/3 of it lives inside your cells, quietly powering your brain, your organs, every piece of tissue keeping you upright. The remaining third moves through the spaces around those cells and through your bloodstream. Some organs hold more than you'd guess. Your brain and your heart are both close to 3/4 water. Your lungs carry even more than that. Even your bones, which feel about as solid and dry as anything in your body, are close to 1/3 water. That water is constantly at work, easing pressure on your joints, helping keep your temperature in check, and feeding your brain and spinal cord what they need to function. Which is exactly why losing even a small percentage of it causes outsized problems. The leak you never notice. Here's the part most people never think about. You're losing fluid constantly, in ways you barely register. Sweat evaporating off your skin, moisture leaving with every breath, tears, even just talking. And it's never only water that goes. Electrolytes like sodium and potassium travel with it. Add it all up, and the average person loses somewhere around 2 to 3 liters a day, just from existing. None of that is optional. Your body has to replace it, or something starts to give. The brain notices first. So how does your body even know it's running low? Deep inside your brain is a region called the hypothalamus, and tucked inside it are cells called osmoreceptors, essentially built-in water sensors. When your fluid levels drop, those cells physically shrink, since they're losing water right along with the rest of you. That shrinking is the trigger. It signals a neighboring gland, the pituitary, to release a hormone with a very literal job title, antidiuretic hormone. Its entire purpose is to stop you from losing more water. At the same time, separate sensors inside your arteries, called baroreceptors, are watching a different clue: blood pressure. Lose enough fluid, and your blood pressure dips too, sending its own distress signal back to the brain. The kidneys step in. Once that hormone reaches your kidneys, they shift into water-saving mode. It tells them to open tiny channels called aquaporins, essentially water gates, that pull fluid back into your bloodstream instead of letting it flow out as urine. That's actually why dehydrated urine looks darker. Your kidneys are hanging onto every drop they can, which leaves everything else more concentrated than usual. What dehydration actually feels like. If water loss keeps outpacing what you take in, the effects start to stack. First, it's small: a headache, a dry mouth, that darker urine. Then comes fatigue and a mental fog that makes even simple tasks feel harder than they should. That fog isn't just a feeling. A brain running low on fluid genuinely has to strain harder to keep up with tasks it would normally breeze through, and it can lose a small amount of volume in the process. Push dehydration far enough and confusion can tip into something far more serious. Disorientation, delirium, even a complete break from reality in extreme cases. Can you drink too much? Here's the twist. Yes, you actually can overdo it. Drink an extreme volume of water in a short window, something that occasionally happens to endurance athletes pushing their limits, and you can trigger a condition called hyponatremia. Your brain does something almost paradoxical here. Instead of holding onto fluid, it dials back, or in extreme cases, halts entirely, its release of that same antidiuretic hormone. The sodium concentration in your blood drops as a result, and your cells, brain cells included, start to take on extra fluid and swell. In severe cases, this water intoxication can bring on vomiting and seizures, and, though it's rare, it can be fatal. So, your body isn't just asking you to drink water, it's running a constant, invisible balancing act between too little and too much. For most healthy adults, nutrition researchers put that range at roughly 2.5 to 3.7 liters a day for men and 2 to 2.7 liters for women. shifting higher if you're active, in the heat, or unwell. And you don't need to get all of it from a glass. Around a fifth of it typically comes from the food you're already eating. Until you stay somewhere in that range, and your brain, your kidneys, and every water-soaked cell in your body will keep doing their job quietly in the background. Ignore it for too long, in either direction, and your body will make sure you notice.